So if you already have the template open, let's go ahead and save this. So save as lab 1. And notice that I already have it. So depending on where you want to put it, it's going to be lab 1 and it's a notebook. So we're going to save it like that. So press save. And I already gave it the title, which again you can change for the different labs. In the abstract, I'm going to put down what I want you to write. So whenever you want to put text, you can press Alt 7 and it gives you text. In the brackets, I'm going to put the kind of things that you should go in here, what your motivation should be. So after you are finished writing everything else, you come back to this section and summarize the lab. In the introduction section, again, I can press down and I can introduce some text by Alt 7. Again, you're going to replace the stuff in the brackets. This is just to help you. At first, I'm going to help you with the introduction, and really here you put down your purpose. So the purpose of this lab is to learn how to measure, identify quantities, and apply significant figures. The kind of things that you're going to put in here is discuss what measurement is and how it is important to the experimental method. You can answer the question of what are quantities? How do the rules of significant figures apply to measurement? Why are significant figures necessary? And a good place to start is a wiki search for measurement. In the materials and methods, we can click on materials, and again you can add text by pressing Alt 7. So what you're going to do here is, in a clear, concise, and logical fashion, state the materials we use and for what purpose. Write the name and a brief description of the rulers in this case. So anything that you used, triple beam balances, caliper, we had cylinders, sphere, and the cup that you measured it in. And you can find these items in the lab when you are doing the next lab. In the future, you can go ahead and write these down as you're doing the lab, but we're learning, so we're taking it step by step. And under methods, you're going to have theory and procedure. What do I mean by theory? So click on theory, press down, and you can add your text in here. In this case, I'm just going to tell you what I want from you. So write the equations and state how they were used. And you can use the math palette. So if you go to palettes and basic math assistant, for example, I could write down what I want to write for, let's say, the volume of a sphere. So I can go over here, click on there, and fill it in. So volume of sphere, I think if you select it, so it's okay to make mistakes, right? That's how we learn. And select that, click here, ooh, wrong one. So volume, click the subscript. Let me get some more stuff, huh? So there's a volume, and then so an example of this, if you go to the math palette, you can type in an equation that you would be using. So let's say that I wanted the volume of a sphere. I could write the equation by pressing V, and I want a subscript, so I could click on this, but I like to use shortcut keys. So here's the subscript, and you can see that the keyboard entry is Control minus. So if I do Control minus, I get that, and I can just type in sphere. Press the right arrow key, and it brings me back to regular size font. And let's say I want 4/3, so I can use the key that makes it look like a fraction. So what I can do is I can press the key that makes it look like a fraction, and if I wanted to, it's Control and then the fraction, or I can just click the button. In this case, I'll just click it, and it's already highlighted. So what I can do is I can press 4 and then Tab, and it brings me to the next selection and write 3 for 4/3. Again, I press the right arrow key, brings me back up to the regular font, and it's 4/3 pi. So I can go to typesetting, and it has different letters. I need the Greek letter pi. It's right here, so I can just click it. And then I need R, and then it's cubed. So I can do the superscript, which is Control 6, and then cube it. And so there is my equation. I can add a space if I want. So these would be the equations that you would write down in the theory part. For procedure, so we click here and then Alt 7 for text. What we would do here is we would write a detailed sequence of what you did in the lab. Then in data, what you're going to put here is, so notice how I clicked and I got something else. What I want to do, so I'll hide this for a second. If you make a mistake, you can always click over here on the right side. You have these little bars. I can click here and I can just delete it, and it brings me back to how it was. So I want to add text, so it's Alt 7 and it's bracket. And what I would want you to write here in the data is your table of measurements. So this is the raw data that we got. It's usually going to be spreadsheets or tables. And then in analysis, this is where you're going to put all your computations and your math work. So again, press the arrow key down, Alt 7, Oops, wrong key. That happens sometimes. Out 7. And we're going to put our calculations here. Then, of course, in discussion and conclusion, we can press the down arrow, and then out 7 when you want to add text. What I want you to put here is to restate your results from your previous section and how they relate to the purpose of the experiment. So either your results go back to your hypothesis and they affirm your hypothesis, or they're off, and at that point you have to discuss why they are off. So discuss why your results may have been off and what possible steps could be made to correct them. And of course, the last part are references. So again, Alt 7, once I click on there. So reference your book if you used it as to do research, any web pages, even wiki, or other resources. Kind of want to give credit where credit is due. So these are the different parts that we want to fill out for our template for this first experiment.